Hey guys, have you ever found yourself wondering where to plug the cables on the GPIO header of your Raspberry Pi? I have, and for the majority I didn't find quite a successful way of coping with that. Sometimes I used things like this. Very nice, you print it out, you can get as many as you want, or something like that. Yes, I have a Raspberry Pi Zero myself. Couldn't resist. How can you? But the way I prefer it is to use something like this. Now, not knowing exactly which one to buy, I bought the three most popular ones. And I decided to find out which one is best. Let's take a look. So these are indeed the most common ones I could find. The blue one is from Adafruit, the black one is from GPIO, and then the red one is from ModMyPi. Let's start from ModMyPi. ModMyPi comes with a red PCB, very thin. I probably think is the thinnest you can get, and the reason for that being thin, and it's pretty much the same for all of them, is that so you can put it on the Raspberry Pi like so, and still have enough length on the header to put on the header pins to put something attached onto it. So brilliant. The ModMyPi one comes as two-phase, different pin numbering. One is BCM, and the other one is just the header pin numbering. On the PCB silk, we can see that some of the pins are also identified by their function, and that's pretty much it. One thing interesting about this this card, is that it is, as they say, idiot-proof. You can't put it the other way around because it is too long. So you shouldn't really be able to get it wrong at all. In fact, you won't be able to get it wrong. It's always in the right place. And be wary that all the 40-pin ones are not good for the old Raspberry Pi, so cannot be used for the previous versions of Raspberry Pi version 1. So for the GPIO card, it's pretty much similar as to the one from the ModMyPi. It's got both pin numbering on both sides, and it's a bit thinner. It's less wide, excuse me, and the thickness of the board is pretty much the same as the other one. So that should allow for the same length of header pin to be sticking out. So on this board, it actually says how should you put the board on, and it says here Pi USB ports at this end. So that's how you put it. Now this isn't idiot proof, and if you do it this way it will still fit. So that may be a problem. And the last one we have is the one from Adafruit. Contrary of the other two, it's only got one. It's only got the silk on one side, and they have done a bit of a different job here. They have yes, the numbering of the pins, but also they've grouped them in order to show the function. So the pins up here are for the power, pins here are for the UART, and then the SPI. So they've grouped it by function. It's actually quite large compared to the other ones. You fit it like this, and you can't fit it like this. So this is also idiot proof. All of them are to be used in this way, so you just put it on the header when you need them, or you can even solder them should you want that to be permanent. I wouldn't like that because it's actually going quite outside of the shape of the PCB of the Raspberry Pi. exception made maybe for this one. No, but it does stick out quite a bit. The Adafruit one is the widest one by quite a big margin, and it is to do with the fact that they wanted to add the grouping of the various functions here. So let's see in a summary what I think of these three and which one is effectively the winner of this very hard competition. And before we wrap it up, we want to see what kind of documentation does it come with these reference cards. Clearly there shouldn't be a hell of a lot of documentation. They're pretty much self-explanatory, but nevertheless, in the spirit of the competition, let's check what each website provide for these reference card boards. So let's start with Adafruit, and Adafruit provides this very nice picture of it. This is from their shop, of course, and it describes what this is about. It makes sure that you know that this isn't good for model B, and that's pretty much it. It actually says, for fairness, that they took the design from low voltage labs, and that they are giving a revenue to them for each one of the boards they are printing. So very nice, noble act from their side. Well done. Next, let's move on to ModMyPy. The only things I could find for ModMyPy reference card was from their website, from their shop, and this is all I could find. So it just describes what it is. It says that it's got BCM numbering on one side and the header pin numbering on the other side, and that's it, even in this case. Last one from RaspIO. It's from Raspberry TV, that you can find all information related to the quick reference of their GPIO, and there is a ton of information here. PDFs that can be downloaded, cheat sheet, the various GPIO numbers depending on which board you have, tutorials. The website in itself is it's enormous. It's got an enormous amount of documentation in any case, but specifically for this is rather overwhelming. And in the end, of course, they suggest you buy one of their cards, as it is much easier than just consulting this documentation online. It comes as a compliment with it. So good. Let's get on to the summary finally and find out the winner. So for the scoring, I have used 1 to 5 method, in which 1 is not good, 2 is nearly good, 3 is good, 4 is great, and 5 is wow. And so let's see what is the PCB quality for each one of them. And I gave a 4 to RaspIO because I think the quality of the PCB is great. The font on the silk screen is big and clear, and it is double-sided with both the BCM and the pin header notation. I gave ModMyPy a 3, as the font is too small and the pads are nearly inexistent. Despite that, it is double-sided, so it's a good quality PCB. ModMyPy comes as 0.8 millimeters, whereas the RaspIO is 1 millimeter. So contrary to what I said earlier on, the RaspIO is actually a bit thicker. And finally, for the Adafruit, I gave it a 3, as the quality of the PCB I reckon is good. The font is small, but it is very clear to read, but unfortunately it hasn't got the double side that the other two have, which I think could be useful in certain cases. Now for the ease of use, I gave RaspIO a wow, as it is very easy to use, and the same can be said for all of them, so I gave all of them a 5. Whereas for the idiot proofability, if there is such a word, if there isn't, I just invented one, I gave Raspberry a good, as we've seen that you can't quite you can get it wrong. The PCB doesn't ensure that you're not going to be able to fit it in the wrong direction. The Raspberry one has got a rising on the silk screen which tells you which direction you should put it in, but you still can get it wrong if you are completely distracted or plain stupid, but it could happen. For the other two, I gave it a 5, as it is extremely easy not to get it wrong. So that's a maximum score that that they could get, and they should. For the complementary documentation, I gave obviously Rasp.io a 5, as there is a ton of documentation on that website, and it's absolutely easy to use and full of information. Whereas for the other two, I give it a 2. It's nearly good, not even quite good. I think they could have made a bit more of an effort in providing some more information there. Price-wise, I bought the Raspberry directly from their website, and I paid £3, including postage. So that's great, I think. Although arguably paying £3 for the GPIO reference header and then £4 for an entire computer these days, it's arguably spending money wisely. But nevertheless, I think it's still a great price, and so that comes to ModMyPi. I bought that directly from their shop, and I paid £1.99 for the card, plus £0.99 for postage and packaging, which brings it to £2.98. So that's still great for me, and I gave it a 4. And the last one from Adafruit, I couldn't buy it from Adafruit, and I bought it from Hobby Electronics, and I paid £2.16 for the card, plus 2 for postage and packaging. I really tried hard to find this board, this card somewhere else, but I really couldn't find it pretty much anywhere else in UK. So that's the only place I found it there, and it comes to £4.16. So I gave it a good, because in fact that's pushing it a bit too much. It's all very fair that this product has a cost, and postage and packaging also has a cost, but honestly £4.16 is probably too much. So as the final score, the Adafruit comes as third with 3.6, and then the winner is Raspberry with 4.2. Congratulations. Obviously second placed is ModMyPi with 3.8. And this concludes today's review, which was a first for me, as I never had a challenge on Garage Tech, but it all went well. Congratulations for the winners, and for the ones that didn't win. Hopefully you're going to do better next time. For everybody else, do remember that there are alternatives to those reference cards, and if you really are allergic to buying anything for that price, you still can use the paper versions, as I told you earlier on. There is this one that comes with the Pi Zero when you buy it from Pomeroni, and you've also got applications for your telephones. I use this one, which is called Electrodroid, and has the pinout for the Raspberry Pi and many other things. It is really a very nice application that you can purchase for very little money. So this concludes today's video. I hope you had fun, and as usual, that's all folks, and see you next time.